Welcome back. Hope you guys are all doing well. Something I noticed is that the viewers, you guys kind of fall off in the first few minutes, a lot of you. And I don't warm up until later in the video. So I have to figure out some way to get in front of the camera, jump in and just be interesting right off the bat. So I don't know, I'm gonna work on my pizzazz, but it's just something you kind of work into. So reasonable reasons to get divorced. If you guys watched my last couple of videos, I have all the reasons in the world why a person should never get divorced. So then it's a simple question. Hey, if you got an answer for everything, so then when is a reasonable time to get divorced? And I'll tell you, I don't have an exact answer, but I have a theory that I think will make a lot of sense to you guys. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty much the biggest decision you're going to make for the rest of your life. When a person gets divorced, they don't think, I want to get divorced so I can live with someone better, someone who will make me happier, someone I can enjoy life with more. Because you don't know. You really don't know. Even if you have somebody on the side that you think you're going to spend your life, that person is not showing you who they are as a main partner. You just don't know. So with that said, are you really ready to spend the rest of your life alone? Because believe me, as a person who I'm remarried, thank God, how many people do I know that thought that they would get remarried, etc., etc. So that's first of all. But when does a person need to get divorced? Well, it's kind of simple if you think about it. Whenever you need to make a really important life decision, what do? Now, I'm not leading up to saying, what do you do? And then say it. I'm saying, what do you do? This is an incredibly important decision. For me, I would speak to people whose opinions I value. I would be honest with myself. I would critique myself. And I would really, really challenge the notion. But here's the thing, right? And somebody brought this up to me many, many years ago when I got divorced the first time. They said, whatever issues I had, they said, just imagine your spouse, not that I want to talk negatively about her, but in theory, when a person wants to get divorced, would you leave your spouse if they're disabled? So if a person becomes impossible, just imagine them as disabled of the mind, I don't know if this is making as much sense as it does in my mind, but the point is that you don't give up on people. We don't throw things away. We live in such a throwaway society, plastic cups and this and that we forget. I'm 49. When I was a kid, the glass got washed and you used it again. And we don't give up. So in order to really get divorced with the proper reasoning, it has to be something that is impossible to fix. That doesn't mean the person's impossible. Doesn't mean you feel like you're living in an impossible situation. It means that this person is bringing you in a direction that's not good for you. Now think about this. You might think automatically, well, hey, yeah, the person's driving me nuts. But maybe you're meant to be driven nuts. Maybe your worst character trait is the trait that person is in your life to work on. Temper, patience, kindness, generosity. You don't really know yourself. We probably know everyone around us better than we know ourselves. We know ourselves very, very little. So you would have to consult with people you really respect. You would have to really put it down to pen and paper. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean you have to actually sit there with a pen and paper, but you have to put a system in your mind where you end up making your decision without emotion, which is kind of difficult. A person needs to get divorced when the person they are with is unhealthy. They're dangerous. Dangerous in the literal sense, or dangerous in that they are going to take them to a worse place than they could be without them. Remember the song, Love the One You're With? It's not really that because you're with the person you should love them. It's because no matter how somebody else seems amazing to you, you don't know. Everybody has flaws. Men, women, everybody's going to be a challenge. Now, can you try to figure out how to resolve this challenge, whether make your relationship better or learn how to compromise, get along? Or do you really want to take a gamble on this other person, whether it's in your mind or you think the person exists, and then they have challenges you can't even possibly handle? At least these challenges, if God brought them in your life, they are challenges that you should theoretically be able to handle. So, in conclusion, a person should 99.99 never get divorced. The only time is when the other person puts them at risk of danger. Literal danger, just a psychotic, crazy person. And of course, you guys are going to excuse that, but I mean literally. Or a person who's not going to bring them forward in life, a person that is just damaging. So you got to really, really be sure that before you make this decision, this is something that you speak to people about that are well-versed. Now think about this. If you speak to somebody who's never been divorced, how can they really guide you? You know, wisdom has a value. And if you speak to people who are divorced, I remember when people got divorced, people would say, welcome to the club. And I would, tell them, what welcome? I wish you would have worked it out. And people would resent me for that. I'm always going to be honest. I don't want you to get divorced, even when I was. I want you, if I really care and love you, to make the situation you're in work, marriage or otherwise. So who do you talk to? You got to really delve. You got to be smart. It's one thing to concede to advice. It's another thing to get the proper advice. And you really, really need to lead yourself and allow yourself to be led in the truest of paths. God bless you. I hope this helped.